Providence, Rhode Island, welcome to the Potterverse. It's a podcast dedicated to the book and film universe of Harry Potter. So grab your favorite time turners and wands and let's step into the night and pursue that flighty temptress adventure. And welcome back. My name is Mary Larson.
My name is Blake, and I don't think I would want to go to the Quidditch World Cup. I don't think I would want to go.
Why? I feel like you would have an extraordinary time.
Oh, no, I would. I absolutely would.
Okay.
But the problem that I have is that's 100,000 people. 100,000 people.
You would not do well with that.
That's a lot of people, man. There's only, I think, a couple of stadiums in the world that house 100,000 people, like that being like the University of Michigan and I think the stadium in Columbus for the Ohio State, they're close to like 96,000 or something around there, and that's about it. There might be one in like China or South Korea somewhere maybe, but like who knows, like 100,000 people.
So I went to Live 8 in Philly, and they were saying that there were like maybe 800,000 people there.
Oh, well, yeah, no, but I'm talking about like seated spectators. In Live 8, it's just a bunch of people, like standing, walking, dancing,
walking,
getting
closer
heat stroke.
Closer than even having a seat to yourself.
Yeah, no.
I think that was more chaotic. Like I would rather be in a stadium with 100,000 people where like I knew that there was enough room for them, enough bathrooms, everything. Live 8 was bananas.
Yeah, I don't think I would choose. No. I know I would choose to not go to Live 8 even when I was younger.
I probably would still go again.
Would you really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious. I mean, aside from that though, like I think the World Cup, the festivities of it and the life behind it, the at least the way that it was described in Bagman and Crouch and everything, that sounds like a really good time. Like that sounds as if it were let's call it a Patriots game. Hold on.
Your cousin from Boston.
That sounds like a Patriots game times 1,000. With the cooking and the all of the fireworks and everything, it does sound like a good time.
It sounds like a wonderful time. Sounds nice and warm, unlike Patriots games in the cold where you can't even feel your body anymore. Yeah, I'm down. I'm down for the Quidditch World Cup. And not only is it fun, of course, just to be seeing the sport and to be seeing all these people from around the world with different accents. It's pretty much like the Olympics, which will have no spectators this year.
None. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Hold on.
Yeah, here we go. So here we are, Chapter 8, the Quidditch World Cup. And now, roared Ludo Bagman's voice, kindly put your wands in the air for the Irish national team mascots. Next moment, what seemed to be a great green and gold comet came zooming into the stadium. It did one circuit of the stadium, then split into two smaller comets, each hurtling towards the goalposts. A rainbow arched suddenly across the field, connecting the two balls of light. The crowd oohed and ahed as though it was a fireworks display. Now the rainbow faded, and balls of light reunited and merged. They had formed a great shimmering shamrock which rose up into the sky and began to soar over the stands. Something like golden rain seemed to be falling from it. "Excellent!" yelled Ron as the shamrock soared over them and heavy gold coins rained from it, bouncing off their heads and seats. Squinting up at the shamrock, Harry realized it was actually comprised of thousands of tiny little bearded men with red vests, each carrying a miniature lamp of green or gold. "Leprechauns," said Mr. Weasley over the tumultuous applause of the crowd, many of whom were still fighting and rummaging under their chairs to retrieve the gold. "There you go," Ron yelled happily, stuffing a fistful of gold coins into Harry's hand. For the omniocular. No, for the omniocular. Blah, blah, blah.
Omnioculars.
There you go.
I got you.
Now you've got to buy me a Christmas present. Ha!
Oh, goodness gracious. There are actually some questions I have about the introduction of the mascots, if you will, and some... Well, I don't know. I'm not sure if I want to get into it now, but they make me feel kind of icky.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't. Well, you know what? We'll save it. We'll save it.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, we'll save it. Okay. You ready to get into the show?
Well, before we do, we want
yes.
to take a brief moment to thank our friends at jointhenerdclan.com who make all of this possible. Blake and I have been telling people and telling our Nerd Clan friends, that this month has been particularly hard on us recently, and we want to let you know from the bottom of our hearts that those of you who do contribute for as little as $2 a month to jointhenerdclan.com, you are supporting this mom and pop podcast. So if we bring you joy, if you enjoy the Potterverse or any and all of the other podcasts or blogs that we do, please, please, please consider contributing, as this is how we are able to sustain our family and sustain our business. So we greatly appreciate those of you who are already members. And with that, we will get into the show.
I solemnly swear that I'm up to no good.
Well, as I said, here we are, Chapter 8 of the Goblet of Fire. We get into this really chunky, big novel, and things are still being built in this magical world. Everybody takes their seats. We meet another house elf, Winky. It's not just our friend Dobby. There are other house elves in the world. We get to see the Malfoys, who are just ever so cruel. We get to also meet Mr. Obelansk, who is the Bulgarian Minister of Magic. Then, as you said, we get to have the Bulgarians and the Irish show off their team mascots. There's all the team members, and the game takes place. It is crazy. It is wild. Ireland just kicks massive butt, but Bulgaria, of course, with their bonbon, Victor Krum, gets the snitch in the end. Fred and George win a bet against Little Bagman, and that is that.
That is it. This is a long chapter.
Really? I didn't feel like it was that long.
No. I don't mean like long in terms of like pages.
Okay.
I meant long in terms of what is happening, and that to me is not a whole ton.
Oh. So what you just said didn't really make any sense. You're just basically saying what?
Meaning...
Not a lot happened.
There's a lot of words and there's a lot of stuff, and that makes it feel long.
You know what it feels like? This is what it feels like for people who have to go to a sporting event that they don't care about.
Good point.
So if you are ever pulled to go to football, baseball, hockey, I don't know, what's the one where you have to like push the thing across the ice? You know? Canadians love it.
Curling.
If you get dragged to some kind of sporting event that you're like, I do not want to be here, I do not enjoy this, that's what it's like at the Quidditch World Cup for you, Blake, reading this chapter. Because I actually enjoyed it, because once again, it's that world building. We get to have little bits. There's little things in this chapter that are important. There's a heck of a lot of this chapter that isn't important. But I think that this is for people who want the world building, people who enjoy the athleticism, real life, or not real life, but there are little bits that are important for us to remember.
Well, let me rephrase my thought. My thought is, okay, for the world of it and for the sport of Quidditch, this is actually quite good.
Yes.
Because it's written well, and you can feel... my sense is that it is written better than the other Quidditch matches from previous books, only because it's written with such a pace and speed that a professional sport would be, that you can't see past it other than the quick pace and speed.
Agreed.
Having said that, it doesn't do anything for me.
Okay.
Other than, okay, yay, Quidditch.
Just
Whee! Quidditch!
No, just you wait, as
that's
they
what
say
it
in
does.
Hamilton.
That's true. It does introduce Victor Krum in, I think, in a special way.
Agreed.
One that actually tells us a lot about him, which is important, I would agree. And this is kind of where I'm with the movie. I'm with the movie on how this was portrayed, which is not at all. We had the introductions. We got a sense of who these people were, kind of. We got the grandeur of it. We saw everything about it. But the match itself doesn't matter, except for Crumb.
Okay, so I will agree with you on the Quidditch game aspect. What we were able to read in this, super fun, fast paced. You understand that Victor Crumb, even though he still is young, what did they say? He's 19?
I think he said he was 18.
18, 19. Which, P.S., 18, and yet he takes Hermione, who's 14, to the Yule Ball?
Little creepy. Little, like, yeah.
Like, mind you, if this was like a decade later and he was 28,
Not great,
she's
Bob.
24, totally cool. 14, 18, that's a massive jump. Goes to show you the maturity level of Hermione Granger that she's able to like pull an 18-year-old like that. I mean, when I was a sophomore, so
Yeah.
what's that?
What, you're
15, 16?
16?
When I asked a senior to my sophomore semi and he was like 17, 18, I thought that was like, ooh, look at me. Like, I'm asking somebody who do a dance who's 2 years older than me. That was like crazy town. But this is a big jump. But in this game, we get to understand that Victor Crumb is a very, very strong athlete physically.
Yes.
You know, he's able to do these massive feats that like other people could not manage. And also he is an intelligent and competitive athlete. And he wants to do things on his terms.
I think intelligent is overstating it. I would say he's selfish.
Why?
Because,
I mean, Harry looks up to how he played this game.
yeah, and I don't think that is a high bar. And in fact, I don't think that's a compliment.
Okay.
The way that it's suggested.
What do you think he did wrong? Victor Crumb.
Victor Crumb gave his. And see, now this is the debate that you get for team sports, right? And this is also a debate I think that exists for Quidditch. How much exactly is Quidditch a team sport, right? Because you essentially have two separate games.
Yes.
You have the game with the beaters and the
quaffles and the beaters.
quaffles and all that other stuff, and that's the game that's going on. That's a more traditional team sport. If you wanted to compare it to something like soccer or field hockey or basketball, I think basketball is somewhat of an appropriate
Offense,
response.
defense.
Yeah, offense, defense,
Score
hoops,
some kind of a
balls,
point.
You score a point. If you wanted to even say football too, fine, great. But then we have the total opposite of a sport, which is one-on-one, more like a tennis match-ish. That's the only thing I can really think of.
I mean, one could kind of say it's like football with like the kickers. Like the field goal kickers. Like you're not really doing too awfully much.
That's true.
You know, you got this kind of by yourself. You can really like make a big difference with the points.
Yes.
Or you could not. But the difference is it's not like the kickers can just come out whenever they want and be like, never mind, I'm going to take a chance.
Yeah.
I'm just going to kick it here. You know, I mean, they can sometimes. They can say like, all right, we're going to go for a kick here.
Yeah, but that's a
coach's
coach's decision to put them out there.
Whereas with Victor Crumb and the other Seekers, yeah, they're playing their own game. And, you know, the point that Harry makes in this chapter is that Victor wanted to end it on his terms. You know, he got the snitch, and Ireland had already had, 160 points or something. So Ireland won, technically, because of the amount of goals that were scored with the quaffle through the keeper coops. Victor Crumb catches the snitch because he realizes his team's completely blown away. So either he's going to lose with his team losing at a smaller margin, but he caught the snitch in this valiant effort. You know, he gets to still have some of the notoriety and they can be proud of him, or they're going to get crushed and they're going to be like 0 to 350 or whatever it's going to be, you know, by the time that the Irish catch the snitch. So he wanted to end it. Let's stop the pain. My team is not, I mean, we all know, those of us who've played sports, you know when your team is having a bad day.
You know,
and
when you're
it's just
overwhelmed.
not gonna work.
Yes.
And if you're playing by a sport that is timed, you are just let's hurry this up. Let's just try not to get beat. But then there's sports like baseball.
Yeah, that are untimed.
And
you just go.
And the runs just keep coming from the other team. And you're like, this inning is never going to end. Like, we just can't get strikes. We just can't catch the ball. And you know how painful that is. And Victor Crumb saw that and he said, there is no time limit. There have been games that have lasted forever. I mean, didn't our local team, the Paw Sox, rest in peace, Paw Sox.
Yeah, I know.
Didn't they have the longest
game in baseball history? 33 innings.
How long was that?
It took place over the course of like a day and a half
Oh,
or something.
like 2 weeks.
Or like 2 days.
Yeah. It was insane.
Yeah, 33
it just
innings.
didn't end. And that's what I think the Victor Crumb was like. He's like, this is either going to just continue because my team is never going to be able to get enough points.
Right.
Or I need to end this.
So the opposing argument, I think, would be, all right, I know that if I catch this snitch, it's going to be 150 points.
Mm-hmm.
What can I do to give my teammates a chance to get
You already gave him a chance. You know that they had a timeout. And he was like, guys, do I need to be the beaters? Do I need to be the chasers?
Yeah, I don't know. Again, this is the debate. The debate
I think
is
his
how
team
much,
backed him up with this choice.
maybe, but how much of this choice was self-serving? How much of it was, I don't care, I'm going to end this game no matter what, and I'm going to do it in my own terms, like, so I get the moral victory.
I don't see Victor Crumb that way. I saw it as this was the plan, and this was the least painful option for my team.
So when I read, we actually listened to this chapter, as a matter of fact.
I read it too.
When we listened to it, the way that I took it was, Crumb is a selfish player.
Okay.
And he did it for his own benefit. Like, I want to win, and I'm gonna do something so that I win, even though my team doesn't. And if Victor Crumb is in fact the best Seeker in the entire planet, which fine, I'm willing to accept. You know that his ability, since this is a one-on-one thing, Seeker versus Seeker, you know he probably has the ability to play some sort of defense to prevent the Irish Seeker from getting the snitch. And if that's the case, why can't Bulgaria get one more score? Right?
That's what he did. I think he has been waiting. I mean, well, he did that little fake. I mean, granted, he probably could have just caught the snitch right away and won the game had he seen it early on. I don't see Victor as doing this completely selfishly.
Yep.
I don't.
And the fact of the matter is this.
I would have made the same choice. I'll tell you that.
We're actually able to have this conversation, right? If this event doesn't happen, if it's just the Quidditch match for the sake of wee Quidditch, then we're not having a debate about Victor's character, right? That we're not having a debate on what his intent is. And you saw it one way. I see it another way. That's fine. What I'm hoping is that this decision that Victor makes in the book, because I don't know if it does this in the movie because there's just no place for it. What I'm hoping is that this decision foreshadows another decision that informs Victor's decision process or Harry's decision-making process.
I will take that argument and say, yes, this does foreshadow something that Harry chooses.
Okay, good. So
I think Harry chooses death on his own terms and in his own time.
But no, I mean for this book.
Mic drop.
You know what? I'll give it to you.
A winner!
Yes, he does do that on his own terms. I'm talking about this book. This book alone.
Okay, well, we'll get back to that.
Okay, yeah, no, we'll put it. I hate this phrase. You know it.
Then stop saying it.
We'll put a pin in it.
Make another phrase.
We're gonna have to make another phrase because, anyways, and I think this is a great conversation.
Okay.
Some other things that come up for me are the mascots. It makes me feel a little icky.
Okay.
And I would love, since you are a fan of this book and you are the Harry Potter expert, my darling, the one that I think knows this story better than most people on this planet.
No.
Yes. Yes.
That's
okay.
There are several of our breed.
Yeah, you can smell each other. It's fine. No, I would like to know your thoughts on the mascots, how they are portrayed, how they're utilized, and what it says for our characters.
I don't think the mascots really say much for the characters, just because it's not like we hang out with the Irish team going forward. There are going to be repercussions because of all of these mascots in the future of this book, which is really cool. So as kind of cheap as it feels to get these, jokey little mascots. We've got the leprechauns, which are technically a beast in the Potterverse.
Okay.
They are listed as, one of the fantastic beasts, kind of along the lines of mer people. Maybe not. I don't even think they're like mer people, because mer people and centaurs have more like rights and stuff, and they're seen. I think they are just seen more as beasts,
Okay.
kind of along like gnomes and things like
Well,
that.
that would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just magical creatures.
Yeah, they're just magical creatures, just like the Vila.
Do you know that leprechaun actually, from its original like Gaelic, just means very small person?
Oh, interesting. Interesting. So they do have something that I'm just going to be spoilerific about right now, because those of us who've read the Potter,
It's a spoiler.
It's
a spoiler podcast.
Well, I know, but the tough thing is, Blake,
I have not read this book. I know.
This is the only book that is going to be difficult for us because of you.
Yes, because of me. I'll take the blame.
Yes. So for anyone here who has not yet read The Goblet of Fire, this isn't going to like break everything for you. But Leprechaun Gold, which they're just throwing out, they're having this, and that's why I read it. They're just throwing it all out, and they're so happy. And Ron is there. Ron, who had this moment where he was so embarrassed because Harry bought Ron and Hermione the Omnioculars. And he said, don't worry about it. This is on me. Because Harry's loaded. He has tons of money. But also, he just wanted to treat his friends. And he
Treat
said,
yourself.
He's like, just don't give me Christmas presents. You're fine. Ron is so excited because Ron never has money. And here he is just scooping it all up as the leprechauns are, giving it to the crowds. And he gives it to Harry, says, like paid you back. Now you do owe me a Christmas gift.
Right.
Gotcha. Leprechaun Gold disappears within an hour or two.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Those little sneaky beasts. So we've got that going on. And then we have the Vila. And the Vila have an interesting bit because Fleur Delacour, who we're going to be meeting later on the series, is
Vila?
part Vila.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she has this like just take pheromones, take like the hot girl in your class pheromone.
Yeah.
Best hair, just like can do no wrong. Seems like when she walks, she floats on air, and multiply that times 1,000.
So that's you.
That will be Fleur. No.
Well,
Was
to me,
not.
yes.
I mean, to you, very sweet, very kind. You didn't know me in high school.
Did not.
Appreciate you.
You were a
lot.
dork.
Not only was I a dork, but I would just nap all the time. There is something on Facebook.
Why do I not doubt this?
I know. There was something on Facebook recently that it was like, if blah, blah, blah was an Olympic sport, I'd win. And I wrote napping, and people don't believe me. I'm an excellent napper.
Can sleep anywhere at any time.
I used to
through
seriously
anything.
just take naps in my AP physics class.
Oh my god!
I was like, I got this.
I don't know how you are able to do that.
Velocity nap. So we've got the Vilas. So we do need to understand a little bit of what the Vilas are capable of. I will tell you that the bad aspect of the Vilas, the like, wow, they just got nasty and they're crazy looking bird things.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about that when it comes to Fleur Delacour.
Okay.
But it is nice to remember this because she's going to just be oh so enticing, particularly to Ron Weasley in this book, that we have to remember what the Vila were capable of doing just because of their hot girlness, I guess, for lack of a better word. So we've got these mascots, and it's just funny stuff. And I like it because traditionally here, we're in the U.S. and we're in Patriots country with Blake and I.
Yes.
And football is frequently known for cheerleaders, so it's just these like bodacious babes who jump around, pom-poms, awesome hair, fake tans, fake teeth, fake a lot of things, but amazing athletes in and of their own accord, hardworking individual. No, see, I know some.
No. I was just got nice bubbies.
They got some nice bubbies. I mean, a lot of them really don't get paid that much, if anything at all. They have like full-time jobs in addition to being these cheerleaders that travel the country or to go to the Super Bowls. So I liked that it wasn't this like version of cheerleaders in this. No, I have lots of friends who are cheerleaders. We have mutual friends who are cheerleaders. If our daughter or son ever decide to become a cheerleader, totally acceptable. As I said, like hardcore athletes. We've all seen them do what they do. But I also, on the flip side, appreciate that that's not the mascot that happens for this. I will say I'm missing a band though. Give me a flippin' pep band. Give me a marching band. Give some halftime show for the marching band geeks out there, which I know there are plenty.
Of course you want a band.
I wanted a band. We
That would
get
be
a
kinda
band.
cool.
We get a band at the Goblet of Fire, like competitions and stuff.
That would be
At least
cool
Hogwarts
to have
has
like a
band.
magical pep band, or just having instruments play themselves. Like that'd be kind of cool too. So that'd be interesting. I showed you
I know.
that TikTok.
Yeah.
That's my boy.
That's my son.
Get away. Sorry.
Okay, so
right,
let's go back to the very beginning because it is a very good place to start. Okay?
Yes.
We're sitting down. We meet a house elf. Winky.
Yeah, I'm kind of out on Winky.
Okay.
I'm out.
This is going to be very difficult for me. My friends who have read this series, you appreciate, you just know. I'm going to put a pin in Winky for Blake's sake. I will say, those of you who've been reading the series, Blake has read 5 and on, okay? This will not be
1 and 2
an
now,
ongoing thing.
and 3.
1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. You're done.
Yeah.
This is the only one that's going to be tough. Let's hold on to Winky, okay? Winky's here. Well, tell me about Winky, Blake, since you're out on Winky. Just give me the facts, okay? You need to love on
all right,
Winky.
facts. All right, facts.
Give
Here we
Winky
go.
a break. I'll tell you that. Give her a break.
Facts. Winky is the house elf for the Bulgarian prime minister.
Very wrong.
Oh no! I'm sorry. It's Barty Crouch.
Senior.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, I forgot.
Big mistake. Huge mistake. Continue.
You know, for as much as you hate that movie, you use that quote a lot. I just want to
only
throw
use
that out
that
there.
quote.
Just want to throw that out there.
That's the only quote I use.
No, Pretty Woman's the best.
No, it's the opposite of
All right, so Barty Crouch Senior's house elf and female house elf doesn't necessarily not like Dobby, but wants Dobby to calm down. What are we doing here, Dobby?
Well, she feels like Dobby's giving the house elves a bad name. You know, Dobby's doing something incredibly extreme. Winky takes pride in her work and
Sure.
in the upbringing, and that this is the way.
Yeah, but
This is the way.
This is the way. But it's not Dobby's fault that he's free and he wants to get paid for his work. There's nothing wrong with that.
Here's my question. Why doesn't Moneybags Harry Potter take Dobby for his own house elf and pay him?
Well, can he have a house elf at Hogwarts?
Why not? Why not? Have your own personal house elf.
I mean,
he essentially kind of is at moments, but why can't Harry just say, Dobby, I will pay you?
yeah. You know, that's great. That's a good question. I
Or
never
why
thought
don't you
about it
go
like that.
work for Sirius? We'll pay you.
Well, Sirius already has Creature.
But Creature's staying at Grimmauld Place. And he doesn't trust Creature.
That's true.
I mean, even though Creature is bound to him, he doesn't trust Creature. Maybe, go do something, Dobby. Go just, I'll pay you to do whatever.
I like the personal house elf thing for Harry. I think that's a
paid house elf.
a paid house elf. I think that's a good idea. But speaking from Dobby's perspective alone, I'm free. I'm legitimately free. I got a sock. I can prove it. Here it is.
Dobby's going to be fine. So
I
want to.
I know. I'm just saying. I want to get paid for my work. Nothing wrong with that.
Okay, yeah. Dobby will be fine.
So now you're having a great debate again on this chapter about what is tradition and versus
Tradition.
versus
You don't get
what,
that one.
No, I don't. Versus what is progressive, right?
Yes.
And I think there's an argument to be made for both,
Mm-hmm.
and which is an interesting. It does put Winky in an interesting position because she does have to uphold her tradition of her life and her role and a role that she has accepted. I think of again Downton Abbey, right? So Downton Abbey, the people that were the quote unquote servants, right? The downstairs people, like Mr. Mosley, took pride in his job.
Is Winky a Mosley?
Yeah, but Mosley got paid. Mosley got
Dobby's
paid.
a Mosley.
Dobby is a Mosley. I'm
There
going to
we
take
go.
pride. But Winky could be too, just not paid. So the argument for Winky's side would be, okay, yes, this is my job. I take pride in it. This is the thing that I want to do. Even though I'm sitting here up in the heights, right? And I hate heights. I'm sitting in this chair because that's my job.
I just need you to have a special place in your heart for Winky. Okay? She's a troubled soul.
She pisses me off.
don't say that.
No. She angers me a little bit because she's down in Dobby. She's down in Dobby. And I'm out on that.
Okay, everyone has their own baggage And I'm just going to leave it at that. Leave Winky alone, okay?
Okay, fair enough.
Leave Winky alone. You know who doesn't want to leave Winky alone?
Who's
is
that?
Ron. Ron and Hermione have never seen a house elf before. This is their first time spotting. And of course, it's because Harry thinks it's Dobby at first.
Right.
Dobby is the only house elf that Harry's even seen. So he yells, "Oh, Dobby!" And it's actually Winky. Ron, who, granted, he's been a wizard his entire life, but he's been a poor wizard. So they've never been able to necessarily have a house elf.
Yeah, but why would that make a difference?
You have to be like given it through your family.
Okay.
Like Winky's family has always worked for the Crouches.
But how does one obtain a house elf if you're not like, even if you're not, because they don't get paid, doesn't matter.
I think it's given by your family, but I think it also is passed. It's something that like families who are pure blood and think that wizards are above all kind of stick to.
No, that makes sense. I get it. I get it. That would make sense for the Weasleys in that they may not want to employ a house elf, thinking that perhaps it is a little degrading.
I don't even know how they would get one.
Yeah, and like that's my question.
But like that's what I'm saying. Like Harry should have been like, Dobby, go hang out at the Weasleys. I'll pay you for it.
Yeah, right. And just
Molly
do the
needs
stuff.
a little help.
Yeah. See, that is what we call a
beautiful
plot hole.
canon. Oh no! I'm like a beautiful canon that I just made up in my head.
It is a beautiful canon that you just made.
Yeah.
I would agree.
So we've got Winky, we've got Barty Crouch, we've got the Malfoys who put into perspective how expensive the seats are that all of these Weasleys, Harry and Hermione, are now taking up. That the seats would have cost more than the Weasley's house is worth.
Yes, and probably far more than what the Weasley's
Mm-hmm.
house is worth, and they're able to do it by giving a gift to St. Mungo's. Right, that's how.
Yeah, but what I'm also saying is like, wow, Arthur Weasley really, like Ludo Bagman did Arthur Weasley a solid.
A major solid. I totally agree.
With all those kids, it wasn't even just like you can pick your favorite kid. Like you could take all your kids and then some.
Like how much money in advertising and like
And
corporate sponsorships are they losing?
Seriously. And so with me and the Minister of from Bulgaria and Barty Crouch, like you're sitting with the top people, and it's literally like Ron Weasley, who is rewinding someone picking their nose on his omnioculars.
How do you feel about this choice that the film made as opposed to what the book portrayed? It was the Malfoys going to sit with the Minister of Magic, and the Weasleys were going up to the tip top of the stadium.
I'm actually fine with the film change because Ludo Bagman's character is important for why they got these seats. And
Yes.
it's important for his interaction with how he now has to pay Fred and George some money because they made a bet together. So that's important. And that entire storyline, as well as Winky's storyline, which are the two important things why they need to be in this seat. They
Yep.
need to be there because of Ludo Bagman and Winky
Yep.
in the book.
Yep.
But there's no Ludo Bagman and there's no Winky in the movie.
Right.
So they don't need to, it wouldn't have made sense for them to sit up there and rub shoulders with everybody, but it does make sense for them to have that negative feeling with the Malfoys because I'm sitting here scratching my head saying Ludo Bagman gave them way too many seats.
Probably. And
So for the movie, it makes sense.
And in the case of the film is still giving you that sense of the Malfoys are special. The Malfoys have a ton of money. They did whatever that they had to do in the film. I forget what it was to get the seats, and they're belittling the Weasleys still. And you almost get the same exact thing, just in a different way, which I think is.
I mean, you don't at all get the same thing, but that's because these plot lines are completely cut out of the movie.
Well, I'm talking about the feeling between the Malfoys and the Weasleys.
Okay,
You
yes.
achieve the same goal, just in a different way.
Yes.
And again, this is like a show don't tell kind of thing, which oddly enough, I think the movie does a better job at than the book. But we'll I think we can skip that for when we analyze the film. A question I do have for you, Mary, is Narcissa Malfoy. She shows up. She's here.
This is the first time hanging out with Mommy.
Narcissa shows up
Mommy
and
Malfoy.
and she tall, thin, blonde would be extremely attractive, if not for the fact that she had this smell underneath her nose.
Yeah.
And what else happens here too is Lucius introduces Narcissa to Fudge, saying, "Yeah, you never met my wife before, huh? Yeah, this is my wife." Whoa! Oh my goodness gracious! I don't know what that was. Anyway, there's the question I have for you is, why do you think that Narcissa has never met Fudge before?
She's always been home. She doesn't do the Ministry of Magic stuff.
Yeah, but if you think Lucius and Fudge, they have, I would think, a relatively
I don't think he comes over for dinner
equitable
right
relationship.
now.
No, I don't think he comes over for dinner, but you would think that she would have been around with Lucius.
I don't think so.
At some point. I mean, all right, let's take you, for example, right? At work.
Well, keep into consideration, Malfoy is now 14. Malfoy is their only child. And from the sense that I get, she overly mothers him. So I also don't get the sense that she has a job outside the home. So I think she is a homemaker and a stay-at-home mom who dotes on her one and only child. They also have, this big manor that they have to take care of and feed all the peacocks. Somebody's got to feed those peacocks. It couldn't have just been Dobby. Now they don't even have a house elf. They haven't had a house elf for 2 years.
Oh, good point. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm sure they got another house elf.
I don't think so. I think Narcissa's been busy raising her kid and then having to pick up after Dobby's mess.
She's in the back of the house after Draco goes to bed just ripping butts. Like, oh my God, what are we going to do?
She probably has a lot of just social anxiety. I mean, her husband was a Death Eater. Voldemort's gone. Bellatrix. There's just a lot
bananas.
of stuff. If I was Narcissa, I'd be like, it's okay, honey. I can stay home. I'm just going to read my adult novels and stay home. It's okay.
Where's Outlander?
Yeah. The new season's on Netflix. You can go to that meeting.
Oh, that's sorry. Yeah. I guess my question is there something that's more nefarious going on? Is Lucius purposely keeping her home? Is he purposely keeping her away?
I think she's made a choice.
Okay, fair enough. She wants to see Jamie.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, so I think that's it. I mean, there's not enough narrative, I don't think, in the Quidditch World Cup itself to really go through any of it, except for the Omnioculars, which I think is a really cool magical artifact.
Yeah.
Being able to get your own play-by-play, slowing play down, using that. That is also something I think I hope and wish that comes back in the book for Harry's benefit. That would be an interesting thing too. But we'll see. And then obviously, of course, the twins having.
You know who I totally love?
Who?
The Bulgarian minister.
Oh, yes.
Well, it was very funny.
Oh, yes. The Bulgarian minister is great.
Oh, yes.
Well, you can speak English this whole time? Well, yeah.
Very funny. It was.
You may need to do your different perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. You got anything else that you want to say about this, my darling, about this chapter?
No.
Okay. You ready to do your different perspective? I was going to do the Bulgarian minister. I was going to.
Okay.
But now that I've heard your accent for the Bulgarian minister, I absolutely need you to do it.
Oh, no. Okay. All right, let's go.
Okay, let's do it. Oh, before we get into the different perspective, wanted to remind you that this different perspective is in fact brought to you by Minute with Mary.
Minute with Mary is one-stop shop for all things beauty and skincare. If you have not yet gone onto Facebook and search the hashtag Minute with Mary, it's a minute with me. Hey, what's going on? I actually have a closed Facebook group where I share loads of tips and tricks. You don't have to purchase anything, but if you do want to make a purchase, if you need a new mascara, for example, a new waterproof mascara, maybe you're going to the beach or swimming in the pool, we've got it for you at minutewithmary.com/discount. I'm hooking you up with 15% off my favorite waterproof mascara.
All right, let's do it.
Holy cricket! You're Harry Potter! I'm Hermione Granger. And you are?
Well, I am the Bulgarian minister. Joke's on you. So, It was wicked hot. And I went to this event and it was amazing. And I met this house elf called Vinky. And Vinky was amazing. Vinky was this little vend who had to sit all day, very sad, Vinky. Oh, it was so fun. So fun. So I go, I know we're not gonna win. Okay, I know we're not gonna win. We're not good. We're not good. The only one who's wicked good is Crumb. Okay, so I know my team not gonna win. They're gonna lose. It's fine. I just watch Vinky the whole time. Vinky, oh man, she hates heights. And then I had so much butterbeer and fire whiskey. Excuse me. Oh, fire whiskey, so good. So good. So the fire whiskey, I told my friend, I said, let's just take lots of shots of fire whiskey and see how long Vinky will stay here. Then we took our popcorn and we just throw it off the edge and be like, Vinky, look how far it is. Look how far the drop is, Vinky. Boop. It was so fun. So fun. And then Victor Crumb got the snitch. The end.
So why did you punk the Cornelius Fudge?
Oh, Fudge.
Why'd you punk him the whole time?
Oh, it's wicked fun. You know, it's the thing. Everyone from England, they think nobody knows my language. We all know your language. We all know it. Leave me alone. Let me just play with Vinky. If I had to pretend to understand him the whole time, it vada, you know, like just talking. I just want to watch the villa, eat my popcorn, pick on Vinky. Okay? That's it. So I'm here for. I don't even know what accent I just made up. But the end. End scene. I just try to have as many V's as possible.
Oh my! I think every word started with V somehow, some way.
Yes. You're welcome, Blake.
Oh my God. That might be
I don't
the
know.
hardest I've laughed.
In a very
in a very long time. Holy smokes, Mary. That is a Mary and Blake media moment in history right there. That's a Hall of Fame moment.
Oh.
Oh, that is that. Oh.
It was wonderful.
Oh my goodness. All right. We got some questions here. Some
we
emails.
do?
Oh yeah, we got some emails. So we'll run through them real quick.
Okay. Very then.
Mail's here.
Now, here's a question. Do you want to answer the questions?
Maybe. We'll see. Let me see what the questions are.
This one comes from Katrina. She says, "Hello from England. I've just finished bringing all the Potterverse podcasts, binging rather, back to back, and I'm finally up to date and feeling a little forlorn.
Oh.
I'm an illustrator, which luckily means I can listen to podcasts whilst I work without being too distracted. I've been drawing and painting while chuckling away a refreshing take on the stories, and I read all the Harry Potter books growing up, and now have a 6 and 4-year-old girlfriend.
Yay.
Hashtag know your pain on that one.
It's not pain. It's
not
beautiful
pain.
years.
You know what I'm saying? It's just, we understand you. We've been there.
We've got you.
We got you, girl. So we're reading the stories again to them.
Love it.
Which has been even more magical than the first time around. And I would totally agree with you, Katrina. It is very magical reading these stories with your kids that are that young. It is awesome.
Or if you're like Blake, reading Goblet of Fire for the first time.
So I'm always on the lookout for interesting content to listen to while I work, so I'll be sure to listen to other podcasts now too, which you can find at maryandblake.com, by the way. You can see all of our podcasts that are there. Thank you for keeping me entertained and engaged, as well as reigniting the Potter passion for me and my family.
Potter passion, dig it.
Ooh,
Thank you so much for writing in.
Potter passion, that might be our new shirt. I like that.
I dig it.
This one comes from Connor. He says, I just started listening to your podcast, and I really love Harry Potter. I've read all the Harry Potter books and watched the movies, but The Cursed Child only because I can't find that one. That's a printed book, and that's hard to read. I won't read it if it's a script. Blake, whenever you talk here, all I see is the Ted movies. whenever I speak.
The teddy bear Ted?
Ted, the one with
Okay.
Mark Wahlberg. Well,
Okay, yeah.
you know what, Connor?
Your cousin from Boston.
You're welcome. I'm a Hufflepuff and have a baby brother who is a Slytherin and is a pain in my butt, but I listen to the podcast on the iHeartRadio app, hashtag not a sponsor. How do I listen to live podcasts on iHeartRadio, yada, yada. My favorite quote from it is from, it is, even in the darkest of times, happiness can be found as long as one remembers to turn on the light. Yes,
I love
agree.
that quote as well.
Well, Connor, if you want to listen to the live podcasts, you can. We're not doing them at the moment, just because of something.
We do them as premieres, though,
do them as premieres.
we join in the fun.
You can watch them on Facebook. You can watch them when they're live. You can watch them on pretty much anything: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. But when we're doing premieres, you can watch them on Facebook and YouTube.
Correct.
That's where we're at.
You can find out more. Just make sure you're on our complimentary texting reminder service. So you text the phone number if you're in the U.S. The phone number is 81010. And then the message field, the @ Elder Wand. I text if we're going to be doing a live premiere so we can all chat together, or if we're doing a live video.
All right, this one comes from Esther. She says, I love the stark contrast between Lucius Malfoy and Arthur Weasley. In the previous chapter, as we will see how people go out of their way to say hi or stop and chat with Arthur, he's consulted on various things by both the Ministry and everyday wizards. Contrary to how the Malfoys look down on them, Arthur Weasley is a respected and well-liked person. Marvin, first, your thoughts on this?
100% agree. People are able to know that Arthur has given his heart and soul to the Ministry, even though he may not be making the most magnificent profit off of it.
Yeah.
That he is well liked. His opinion is well sought after. I agree. And I think that those who need to rub shoulders with the Malfoys do. But for the most part, they're just so snobby that probably people don't even want to associate with them.
And I think there's also a little bit of commentary here, too, from the author in that the people with the money are the snobby. Like, let's talk about Tom Riddle, right? Snobby. That family was not very well liked. Nobody really cared. The Malfoys, not very well liked, have a lot of money, snobbish, that whole type thing. Whereas the Weasleys, they are not rich, but they work hard, and they work hard for the money that they do have. And they celebrate family, and they are held in a better light. And I think Esther even makes a point here. Arthur was gifted 10 prime box tickets to the Quidditch World Cup, an extremely generous gift, simply because Ludo Bagman likes him that much.
Yes.
That is an interesting point. And on the flip side, says Esther, the Malfoys made a donation and in return received only 3 tickets. So they still bought their tickets. They just got to pretend that they were a gift of their generosity.
Yeah,
the Malfoys are respected by their people in their peer group, but not by the wizarding community at large, which is the reverse.
Love
of
that feedback,
the Weasleys.
Esther.
Oh, Esther. Oh, my goodness gracious. Thank you so much. Oh, nope. Sorry. That's the wrong one.
Bam! Just like that. A winner!
Dare I even say, Marvin? Yes, it is. That was outstanding. This is why I love having listener feedback for this podcast, because everybody sees something different. As a reminder, you can email us at maryandblakemedia@gmail.com, where we're able to get your emails and we can bring them up on the podcast whenever they come in.
Agreed.
So, try to keep it relatively on topic for the most part. But that's what we got. Marvin, you ready to close this show out?
I am.
Let's get it done.
We want to thank you all so incredibly much for taking the time to listen to our podcast. Also, for those of you who have taken a moment to write in a review at Apple Podcasts, we want to thank today RZD Bug says, you guys are amazing. I love your show so much. You make me laugh and sometimes laugh cry. That's because of you, Mary. Oh, you're welcome. I discovered you a few weeks ago and I'm starting to check out those Marvel Diaries. Blake with his Loki. Can't wait to see more of you. Have helped be Lumos in the time of Nox. So thank you so very much. Remember, you can leave a review whether or not you listen through the Apple Podcast app. You could just sign on in and write a review. It means so very much to Blake and I. They're like little warm hugs.
Yes.
So thank you again for those of you who are members at jointhenerdclan.com. My name is Mary.
My name is Blake.
Mischief managed.